Hello and welcome to Sectors Up Close. I'm David Pollard. Is AI still the must-have play, or are Nvidia and others like it in overhyped bubble land, as hedge fund Elliott warned last month? Well, we're looking at that question with our guest Will Rhind, founder and CEO of GraniteShares. When revenue growth of 122% on the year disappoints investors, you know that expectations are not just big, but perhaps outlandishly so. But that is the story with Nvidia, the signature name of the AI revolution, who saw its shares sell off heavily despite a healthy earnings report last month, with a second swinging sell-off last week as nerves over the future of AI spread across the sector, vaporizing almost $300 billion worth of Nvidia in the process in just one day. Well, with me is Will Rhind of GraniteShares. Many thanks, Will, for joining us today. Is this a space, with that sort of volatility that we've seen at Nvidia, is this a space that's simply getting too speculative, too risky for all but the most expert investors?
I don't think so. Yes, clearly with any new technology, there is an element of hype with that, and there will be clearly bumps along the way. But fundamentally, a company like Nvidia, when you have a revenue base that's growing at 122% year on year, this is going to be a larger company in years to come than it is today.
A growing feature of the discussion around AI, though, is the roadmap ahead or the lack of possible use cases. And again, referencing Elliott, there are investors out there who say that the technology is not there yet, it's not cost effective, that it actually may never produce the sort of use cases that we're dreaming of at the moment. What's your take on that debate?
The reason why you're seeing $1 trillion worth of CapEx being spent on AI by the large tech companies is because they fundamentally believe this will change the world that we live in beyond wildest dreams today. You know, this will only sort of advance, but I think that sort of game-changing technology that people are perhaps looking for, we've yet to see.
Let's look at AI from the consumer point of view. Apple has just debuted its iPhone 16, which is packed with AI features. How successfully are the big tech companies keeping up with the demand for AI, or indeed producing the sort of AI that retail customers want?
I think, again, it's early days because we've seen the way that, I mean, GPT-4, for example, in terms of ChatGPT's announcement to the world, you know, is really still in its infancy, and the way that these large language models are able to perform. But I think that if you look at something like Apple, you know, the potential is huge. I mean, so many people have an Apple device on them all time, the amount of data that Apple knows about us all individually. And, you know, how I think, you know, lives or productivity would be enhanced by, you know, some of the features on the iPhone, for example, being augmented by AI. And something as simple as Siri, for example, we'd all, I'm sure, you know, welcome a world whereby, you know, Siri acts as a really efficient personal assistant as opposed to, you know, a sort of glorified chat bot.
If we skim the headlines from this sector over recent days and weeks, we see that, for example, Palantir has agreed a 5-year deal with BP, where Palantir AI will help BP engineers in their decision-making processes. Is that the kind of thing that investors in AI should be looking out for? Something that's fairly clear-cut, a very clear single purpose to it?
I think this Palantir BP deal is a great example of how AI is being used to demonstrate what, at the moment, I think one of the best applications for AI is a combination of, you know, productivity increase, efficiency, and, you know, ease of use for company. We all know that data, the proliferation of data over the last, you know, decade or so has been astonishing. And it's not so much that we need more data, it's we need to know how to make sense of the data that we have and to make it usable, practical, drive those efficiencies ultimately to the bottom line, help people do their jobs better. And this really is the kind of the key takeaway from at least this deal that Palantir has done with BP.
What about strategies for investing in this space? GraniteShares has a number of ETFs, some of them leveraged based on single shares. That's obviously for the more risk tolerant among investors out there, but could a picks and shovels approach also be suitable where, for example, you might invest in the suppliers to a company like Nvidia? I'm thinking of Fabrinet, TSMC, for example.
Nvidia is ultimately maybe the ultimate picks and shovels company in the space, producing the hardware that these companies so desperately need to manifest their AI ambitions. But absolutely, other companies that are producing chips, TSMC, AMD, etc., all will benefit, even the hardware manufacturers such as Dell. So that this is the companies that are all part of this AI revolution. That's the thing that ties them together, is everybody wants to participate in this AI story.
Okay, Will Rhind, founder and CEO of GraniteShares, it's been great to hear your thoughts today. Many thanks for being with us. And that is your roundup of the AI sector. I'm David Pollard, and this is Reuters.